The best radio station in the world. Is right here, right now.
Welcome to chillloverradio.net.
On air, online, on now. This is an exclusive.
Chill Lover Radio, you on the air?
Well, hey there.
Hello there.
Chill Lover Radio listeners, we are honored to have with us this evening two of the most amazing writers and producers of the film God and Salsa, Jess and Anayancy Thomas. Welcome. How you guys doing?
Oh, it's just so great to be with you, King Jones. It's such a blessing, really.
Thanks for having us.
Hey, thanks for setting aside some time this evening to speak with us. Now, Jess and Anayancy, could you give us a background of how you got started as a writer and in the film industry?
You know, I've been a filmmaker. It's funny because I started out as my pre-teens and early teens doing Super 8 movies in junior high school. And one of the things that interested me is that I was able to make a little movie in history class in junior high school instead of doing a 60-page term paper, right? Mm-hmm. So I said to myself, wow, man, there's something to this, you know?
Yeah.
I can have fun because I loved making the movies and cutting them together, and it had something to do with what we were studying in history class or whatever. And I just thought, this is great. I don't have to write that term paper, and I can do something I love. Well, that evolved over the years into actually getting more into theater, and I became an actor and did stage plays in high school, and then studied, theater and film at San Francisco State University, and came to LA a number of years ago really to get into the whole acting thing, which I dabbled in for a while, but full circle comes and finally realized I even got kind of diverted off into other lines of work and got into the car business for a number of years, but my heart was always in filmmaking. And I started writing again, and I realized, oh my gosh, I need to be doing this. And I found that where my real passion and talent was really behind the camera, whether it's writing, directing, producing, editing. I got into editing. And that's where I really found that my passion was the strongest. And so I've been doing that now for a number of years, since the early to mid-90s. And I've done a number of projects, whether video magazine format, 3 feature films, a lot of short format, some for-hire things, behind-the-scenes, documentaries. And Anayancy and I actually, and this is how she just recently in the last year or two got into this industry, did a competition film, Love Always.
Oh.
Well, you can talk about that more.
Right. So to give a brief summary of my background, I was not or intended to be in the film industry. However, I, didn't really know that I had a purpose for that. I'll explain in a minute. I went through very challenging times in my life, and as I was going through that process and went to church and learned during that time that we go through experiences for a reason. And sometimes that training we have in life is to experience and go through the pain to help others. Now, when you go through this experience to help others, there's, then the question comes, how do we reach out to those that need the help, or how do we help others? And as I started to pray more about it, this voice that will never get quiet, that I fought for so many years, is write a book, become more proactive. And it's like, no, that's not me. And it's like, really, I don't have any place in there. And somehow this strong voice kept saying, bring awareness in a way that will help others maybe through a documentary. And I thought, I need to start paying more attention to this. And that's when one day I said in my prayer, okay, God, if this is your will, you need to guide me because I have no training in film. I don't know how to write a script or a documentary or a book, but if this is what you want me to do, you need to lead the way. Our church at that time was Bel Air Presbyterian Church in Bel Air, California, has a film industry, or what is ministry. So I was led to go to one of those lunches, and I was looking for guidance. I really didn't know what to do. And after the service, I went to the luncheon and ended up sitting at the same table that Jess was sitting at.
That's right.
And we started a conversation. And he asked me what I do for a living, and I work as a contract administrator for a company that owns and operates hospitals. So I asked him the same question, and he told me, I'm in the entertainment industry. My passion is to drive, direct, and produce films and documentaries, among other things. He does a lot of other things aside from that. So that's when the question came about, and I said, do you know anything about a software to create documentaries? And he goes, well, yes. And he asked, what's the concept? What's the idea? And I shared with him that I wanted to bring awareness about, in this particular case, broken families and the damage that conflicted divorces causes in children, but mainly focusing on the solution rather than the problem. And he said, that touches home. How about if we meet in a couple of weeks and we discuss your idea, and maybe I can help you write the script. So that was basically how we exchanged information. 2 weeks later, we met up at Starbucks, and we talked more about this idea. And that's when I learned, he shared with me that he went through a very conflicted divorce experience with his parents when he was a child. And
so, just to interject, so basically she had gone through it as a parent, this kind of a horrible situation where the kids were stuck in the middle, and it was, a conflicted divorce. And I went through it from the point of view of a child because my parents, were really in a conflicted divorce. It was, confusing, and when you lose that secure attachment with both your parents, you kind of act out, And I'm just go on a little tangent here and pick it up. And it affected me for years and years, because I went into the drugs and the alcohol, and I was confused for a long, long, long time. Got into a really bad marriage, and it was during that divorce. I was Christian per se, but I wasn't going to church a lot, a couple times a year. But during the divorce, I was really going off the deep end and wondering, I decided, look, I'm going to either end up 6 feet under, or I got to start going to church every week. And so I decided I'll start going to church every week, because that was a lot more pleasant outcome, I think. And because I did, then I got more involved with Bel Air Press, and then I found out about this entertainment biz thing, and I was praying a lot, Lord. I've been making movies. I've always wanted to make movies that are more inspirational, that serve you. How can I do that? And lo and behold, I go to one of these entertainment lunches and I meet Anayancy. So that's kind of my side of what got me there that day. And I'll let you continue.
Oh, sure. And so basically, that day we decided to become partners. We decided to sign an agreement, and we started working on ideas and the different experiences, or how we were going to develop this script. Now, Jess was brilliant enough to change the documentary idea into a feature film for multiple reasons. He can explain more about the reasons behind that.
I think, King Jones. Wouldn't you rather sit in the theater and see a story unfold before you that really draws you in, that makes you feel for the characters, and that you take this ride, this emotional ride with them, and in the end have some kind of resolution to whatever issue there is, rather than sit and watch, and God bless them, I love therapists, but to sit and watch a talking heads kind of clinical thing. I love documentaries. I've made a few feature documentaries, but there's a certain audience of people that like documentaries. I'm one. I'll raise my hand. I love it. But I think there's a much wider audience that would like to just sit there and get absorbed into a storyline and feel the emotions of the characters and experience the story through the eyes of the character. And I think thereby they're going to understand the issues we're trying to bring across, because that's what the characters are going through.
Exactly.
You know? So we decided, let's do a narrative feature, because I think we can reach a lot more people. And that's the whole idea. We're trying to, as we're saying, use the painful experiences we've gone through to help avoid other people going through the same pitfalls. And what a learning experience, because during the course of the research phase of this film, let me just back up to that Starbucks for a minute here, since we have the time. We got time.
Oh, yeah, we got time. We got plenty of time.
Well, something else happened. When I first met her, it's an interesting story idea. Let's meet. Nothing really going on. But when I saw her at the Starbucks, I thought, wait a minute. Is this the same person? She's pretty hot. She's really cute. What happened? I don't know what happened, but I looked at her and I just all of a sudden was totally attracted to her, where I wasn't before, and so I just want to lay the groundwork and plant the seed for that. The relationship started, we took our time, but the sparks started there at the Starbucks, at least for me.
Yeah, no, actually, I noticed his beautiful eyes as well, and I didn't think I noticed that when we met at church. However, like he said, it was through the process of getting to know each other, sharing our experiences, and putting together all the elements to write the script. Because we did interview therapists, we interviewed our dance instructors, and the director of the music band. So it took quite some time to develop the film. But during that process, not only we fell in love, we did have the opportunity to pull files from the past that were painful and resolved a lot of those unresolved issues that we had. There was healing in so many different ways, and it helped both of us to kind of, if there was something out there that we did not felt free of, or that we needed to forgive, that was an opportunity that definitely brought that to our heart. And I would say it was challenging, but it was also healing.
It was amazingly healing. I think an example. I mean, there were so many levels to this thing. I guess so. Let's go through some of them. But one, just to stay on the therapy side, there's also the spiritual side. There's the dance element, movement, and the body and the mind and working together. But the therapy, when we interviewed Sharon Tunis, who was the former president of the West Side of NAMI, what does NAMI stand for?
National Alliance of Mental Illness.
Yeah, which is a big organization, helps a lot of people. And we put a list together, because we wanted to get it technically accurate. For those in the audience who aren't really up to speed with what the film is about, I'll give a quick log line. It's about a grieving therapist who's determined to help a suicidal teen and regains her faith in the process with the help of her salsa instructor. That's like the elevator pitch, as we would call it. And so because the central character in God and Salsa is a therapist, we needed to really get that right. That's so important. So we interviewed a number of really well-known therapists, and one of them was Sharon Tunis. And during the course of that, we videotaped it. Actually, if you go to our Facebook page, there's a video there, God and Salsa Dash, the film. There's a video there with her in it, and another great guy, Lloyd Davis, who's another very good therapist. But anyway, during the course of asking her those questions, when we videotaped it, like I say, I was amazed because after we cut the camera, I go, Sharon, well, where were you when I was 11 or 12 years old? You would have saved me from about 25 years worth of misery, because there's a few things that she said that she tells people, and the different things, the ways that she helps these young people that allow them to avoid going through what we went through. And I never really had therapy. Therapy wasn't a big deal when I was young. And so I just knew we were onto something there, because this was stuff that even a guy many, many years later can benefit from, just those things. And those are some of the things we actually put within the in context of the film, because they were so helpful even to us today. And there was also the spiritual element, and the combination of the spiritual and the dance. And I'll let you get into that a little bit if you want to.
Sure. Definitely faith is a component in the film, without being forceful in any way. We don't want to hit anybody with Bibles on the head. It's just based on my personal experience, which when you go through darkest time, if you hang on to God and learn more about what He can help you get through, even though sometimes it seems impossible, He turns things around. And that He did that for me. And that's how, during that time, I went more to church. I decided to learn more Bible. I actually went to mission trips and tried to utilize the time that I felt that I was lost and I was angry, and I felt that even abandoned, not only by my closest support system, but also sometimes by God, not knowing that there was a purpose for all that. In the process, I also enrolled myself in this studio in Alhambra called the Granada.
What's the name of it? It's Dance LA?
Let's Dance LA was originally the name of Enio and Terryl Jones' dance studio. And I met them back in those days in 2001, but I wasn't really going to classes as much as I would like to. But it was during the process of course that they were already the owners of the Granada dance studio and also Salsa Club when I started taking classes more consistently. And they were amazing. They taught me much more than through dancing, which is a skill that you have to have process to let somebody else lead you on the dance floor for about 3 minutes. And you oftentimes don't know that person, but you have to, as a follower, you have to let that person lead you. Having trust issues and going through challenging situations is not always easy. That was a physical exercise that allowed me to not only get fit physically, but also relay that experience from this physical motion to this faith that was being challenged, and the messages that I will hear in church that I pretty much sometimes were on the same page as you need to pray, you need to trust. My dance instructor will say you need to practice, you need to follow, you need to let us lead you. And when you're learning from two different elements that are not necessarily, they don't have anything in common per se, but you can apply the same principle. In my personal life, it helped me to straighten my faith.
And I think, can I interject?
Sure.
I believe that the arts in general can be very inspired. And inspired, if you look at the root word of the word inspired, it's spirit within. It's God's spirit, it's the Holy Spirit. And I think the arts, are a reflection of society many times, so it can be ugly. But in some ways, it's really an inspired form that can help. And that goes for dance, that goes for film, that goes for painting.
Exactly.
I think there is a spirituality about all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Now, God is separate, and you're following Jesus and the teachings of Christ is separate than art, but I think art can be inspired by the Holy Spirit. And often is, even if people don't know it. And so also then the mind-body thing that she was talking about, when you're dancing, your mind is occupied because you're counting the steps. Your body is occupied, so it really helps. It forces you to forget whatever's on your mind that's bumming you out, you know? And you're now doing something that is kind of inspiring. And I think it allows then some of these other thoughts, like she was saying, so these more positive thoughts, these more God-grounded thoughts, to creep in, which is a great thing. So and I think, pretty sure you're going to ask, is this movie, autobiographical?
Yes.
And I'm sorry if I'm talking so much.
No, you great. You great. I'm actually in the zone with you guys, just listening to just your backgrounds and how you guys because I could kind of see the script as you're speaking, because I know it's not an autobiography. I know it's actually not exactly how it played out in you guys' lives, but at the same time, I could kind of picture where you're going with it without even looking at the new movie.
That's so cool. I'm so glad that we can actually speak still and it makes sense. But exactly. So what we decided, first we were going to do sort of an autobiographical thing based, mostly on Anayancy's life. But we decided, let's not do that. You can hurt a lot of people that way, if they take the wrong way and so forth. Let's take what we think are the essential things that inspired us and helped us in our life, and make other characters that are going through similar situations that are completely different characters experience it that way. And that's what we did. That's why the central character, Anayancy's not a therapist, but we thought, that would be a great idea to have a central character that is a therapist, but it's also conflicted because she's going through grief herself.
And that's what's unique about this. Not to cut you off, but I was just saying that's what's so unique about this, because she's a therapist, but a lot of times people think, okay, you never think that therapists actually are going through things themselves, because they, you guys are helping out so many people, but at the same time, it's like, man, she's a therapist and she have her own problems. You know what I'm saying? And it's just so unique.
That's right. And we thought the same thing. We thought, well, we're all human. It's like God's salsa. Salsa is really a combination of different ingredients that are very spicy and diverse. And that's kind of what the film is about. It's a multicultural film, and it's about us as people. We're all God's people. We're all multicultural, and we're all going through some stuff in our life. And it's not all pleasant. And so, but we decided that we would change up the characters, but there's a lot of us in the film, like the experience of the spirituality and the dance. That's what really helped Anayancy. And a lot of the things that the young character Shane, although I was a bit younger when I was going through it, but a lot of the stuff he's going through are exactly the things that I was going through when my parents were breaking up. So there's a lot of us there, but we changed it up and made it take a life of, let's say it took a life of its own in the process. Yeah. And just so everybody knows, we've done a proof of concept, which is a couple of minutes long. There's two versions. One is 1 minute, and then we have a 6-minute version also. And we're putting all this amazing talent together, and everything that's going on, including this show today, King Jones, is such a blessing. Is all, it's all coming together, and it's the project as it comes together sort of is taking its own path. But the end-all goal is to be able to raise the funds to shoot the 2-hour version. That's the whole thing that we're working on, and we hope to really pull all that together and shoot the actual 2-hour movie this summer. Man, that's our goal.
You guys are on the right track. But one thing I wanted to ask too, speaking of the actors, how did you guys link up with Giovanna Vidal and Javier Luna? to play the roles? How did y'all get the perfect actors to play the star roles?
Well, it was a great journey. We are, and I guess I can plug on the show, but we're members of a wonderful organization called Film Independent. And they nurture independent filmmakers. They put on the Spirit Awards every year. They used to do the Los Angeles Film Festival. This year was their last time doing that. But they're a resource for filmmakers, and you can become a member. You pay a small fee, and you become a member, and then you can go to meetings. You can meet people. We can also, since we're Filmmaker Pro members, we can, we're able to use their facilities. So instead of, since we're not in full production with a feature, we're not ramped up to get our own office and stuff, but we can use their facilities for casting. We can use their facilities for meetings, for table reads. They also have a lot of discounts for casting services. And so that's what we did. We went through, we rented some space there. We went through a place called Backstage online casting. And you can go there and you pick, and we deliberately picked, we didn't go to agencies. We didn't go to big names. We wanted talent, but we knew we were just shooting a promo. But we wanted to get the best talent we could to shoot this proof of concept. And so we put the casting call out on Backstage, and we got a tremendous response. But it is what it is. And it was really awesome. And that's how we found, Javier Luna was one of the young men. There were many. There were several young men. And he was really this teen idol looking guy. And we thought, let's put him on the list, but there's probably some other guys that have better actors, because you don't figure always that the teen idol good looking guy is going to be the best actor, But as it turned out, he actually, out of all the guys we looked at, he was also the best actor of the day. And then with Giovanna, it was very specific. Also, we looked for a specific type. We looked for somebody who was a very well-trained actor. And she also had to know how to do Latin dance, so that kind of narrowed it down, but we still got a good response, and we feel really blessed about finding these actors. But that was the process. We went through a casting process, and we can cast them that way.
Wow. Now, what was your biggest challenge with bringing this script to life? Overall?
Oh, gosh. It's been a 6-year process, because we met 6 years ago, and we started out, just to give you an idea, we started out, like Anayancy was saying, with the idea of doing a documentary, and we even outlined the documentary and how to do the documentary, so we did a lot of work there. Then we switched over and decided to do a feature film script. And so then you have to break down the script. There's a whole process where you break down the story on a storyboard, and then you try to, you actually end up finally, honing that down to where it sort of makes sense and is structured, where there's a storyline that makes sense. Then you put it to paper, you actually write the script, and then you rewrite it and rewrite it and rewrite it and rewrite it. So Anayancy wants to.
Yeah, and also not having any kind of training in filmmaking just has been such a great mentor for me. He pulled these books and he gave me all this information, and let's read this together, and we're going to learn this, and he explained everything in such a way that made it simple for me to understand. I have a lot to learn, by the way, but what was needed at that particular moment for us to work in the script, he's been an amazing mentor. And aside from that, I kind of convinced him to enter into this competition in a Christian film festival that we have here in LA. It's called 168 Film Festival. And he didn't really...
Oh, gosh. It was like, oh, boy, another competition film. I thought I was over that years ago, but...
But then, taking into consideration, I have no experience making film. I don't know what it's all about, and I'm learning this. He eventually agreed, and we entered in this competition. It is called 168 for a reason. He'll explain more about how it...
Well, 168 is 168 hours, which is 7 days. They give you 7 days. The other component, did you say it was a third phase?
No, it didn't.
The other thing that made it interesting is we were already working on the God Salsa project and the script, and we're trying to, get that going. There were some deviations in life, which Anayancy got sick for a while, and then my mother passed away. So there was a year or two where we got dropped out of the whole God and Salsa push, you know.
Oh, wow.
But then when we started coming back, it was like she had talked about 168 for years, and I was like, yeah, well, you know, I'm a typical guy, right? Blowing off a perfectly good idea, you know. What is it with guys that do that? I don't know. But anyway, it really came into focus again because I realized, I go, well, you know what? We're going to meet a lot of people that are in that community, in the faith-based filmmaking community, and our film has a faith-based element. It's not full, you know, it's kind of a crossover movie. It's secular too, but it does have a faith-based component. So all of a sudden it started to be a really good idea. We really got into it. But boy, was it a challenge, right?
Yes. Now I kind of have a little taste of what it's like. We slept less than 4 hours every day during the time we were working on shooting that film because it was a very small crew.
That's what I was going to ask you. How hard was it to shoot those scenes? Because, man, that had to be difficult too.
It was, and mind you, this is a competition.
Yeah.
So there's mixers that 168 Film Festival put together, and then you go to these mixers and you interact with other actors or crew, and you recruit actors and crew members from these mixers. You don't know these people, but you work with them eventually.
So in all fairness, you don't have to recruit from there.
That's true.
But it is a great opportunity because there are other people looking for stuff to do too, and you can look at their reels and stuff. And you know, since there's a time crunch, so you have 7 days to shoot it, but 10 days before you're going to, for a month before, you're kind of going to mixers, and about 10 days before, they have this amazing, cool meeting in the church, and what they do is they've taken all these little stones and written Bible verses on them, and then they set them up as a crucifix. And then one by one, the filmmakers go up and pick up a stone, and whatever Bible verse is on there has to be the theme of your short film. And the films have to be under 11 minutes. Ours was exactly to the second, 11 minutes.
Yeah.
And so then you write the script, you know. Fortunately, we got this actor who was also a writer, you know, had done some writing. We went over the story, and he went off and kind of wrote the script, and we kind of did the rest of our casting and got our crew's very minimal. We had one director of photography, one key grip. We had, and that was the crew, the three of us.
You directed. I was anything else that
she was the producer. She handled the contract. She handled the craft service. She handled the food.
Wow.
She ran the boom sometimes. You know? she was the script supervisor.
Yeah, pretty much. Anything else.
But what she's trying to say is that that was her film school. I mean, it was like A through Z film school, from concept through film festivals. As it turned out, we did very well. We were nominated for 5 awards, 168, and we ended up going to the International Christian Film Festival in Orlando, where we were nominated as Most Inspirational Short Film, and it did end up opening a lot of doors for us, and we did end up meeting a lot of really high rollers in the faith-based filmmaking community, and just a lot of really nice people that we could work with in the future. So it turned out one of the more difficult things to do, especially later, you know, in your career. But it was wonderful. And you know what? The upshot of this is, King Jones. You know what the upshot is? When your wife makes a suggestion,
Yep.
you best say yes, honey. Yes, dear.
You know,
because most of the time it turns out pretty good.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man. It's just they always steer you in the right direction, whether you know it or not. I found out.
That's right.
Trust me, I know.
Hopefully your lovely lady's listening.
Yeah, she's listening. That's why I got to say that. I'm just kidding. So, let me ask you this. Let's get into the music, dancing part of the film as well. I know you mentioned Enio, Cordoba, and Terryl Jones' choreography for the film. How difficult was that? I know you guys had fun doing that as well.
How difficult was it to get them involved?
Yeah, just to get them involved. Even shooting the scene. How was that?
Pretty amazing. First, I just want to say one quick thing, and then I'll hand it over to you. And the balance of the film, as you know, because you and I chatted a little before, and you've seen our stuff on the website. There's a whole dark element. You know, this young man she's grieving the loss of her child, and so her first patient coming back to work as a therapist is this young man who's attempted suicide. So there's a lot of heavy subjects that we're dealing with that I think are very important. But you can't just stay, in my view, if you're making a feature film, you can't just stay in the dark all the time. So the whole world of the salsa world balances out the film a great deal. There's color, there's beautiful music, and there's movement, there's the dance, and there's a lot of humor. Enio in the script has a lot of, he's very boisterous and flamboyant and funny. There's a lot of characters within the world of salsa, which is the B story of this movie, that lends itself to entertainment and levity and fun. And so we kind of think that's important to balance it out. Now, how hard was it to get Enio involved? Well, Enio and Anayancy, Enio and Terryl and Anayancy have known each other for years.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And they became my second family, believe it or not. So along the way of learning how to dance, I developed a very strong relationship with them. They pushed my limits when it came to, I can't do this, and I was all negative, and they were like, oh no, yes, you can. So they pushed my limits and helped me rediscover myself, gain confidence. There's much more than just learning dancing steps from both of them. They were also mentors, and met great friends that still, we're really close. And every single one of them have gone through hardships in life. And some of them, or most of them, got into dancing because of that. So Enio and Terryl are very familiar with that dynamic. And their passion for teaching, the passion for bringing the dancing element. The way they teach is very different from other instructors that I know. They are very receptive to that. They have the ability to recognize those that need a little bit of extra help. And they become, when you go to their classes, you have fun, you get challenged. There's so many different elements that go there that it kind of becomes addictive. Now, when we presented this project to them, they were pretty much on.
They were totally on board, virtually immediately. The only thing that took a little time was they're so darn busy that it was hard to get a hold of them sometimes. But no, they were so supportive and still are. And, the second part of your question, okay, so can I plug this thing a little bit right now? Can I put in a little plug? If people want to see the proof of concept, you can go to social media, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. It's at God and Salsa the film, or just go to godandsalsa.com and you'll see a 1-minute proof of concept there. If you go to godandsalsa.com and sign up, I will send you a 6-minute version. But so that's, sorry about that. I'm plugging.
No, you're fine.
Can't help it.
No. If you want to plug it in, that's fine.
All right, plug away. All right. But the thing of it is what we did is when we shot this thing, we pretty much shot in a day and a half or so, So all of the dance stuff that you see in the movie was shot in a few hours, really, because we had a scene outside, and then we had a scene at the cemetery, and then we had a scene in the dance club. And so Enio flew in, and he was barely memorizing his lines. I ran the lines with him. This is the night before we were shooting. The next day, we went to shoot, and after he ran his scene, I said, Enio, I know it's kind of short notice. Here we are on set shooting this thing, right? I said, I know it's kind of short notice, but can you help me out? I need to do some choreography, but just in this part and this part and this part, because we're going to want a couple of people to go by, and then I want to land on the lead actress at the very end. And, usually in a dance film, they have choreographers and dance trainers on set, and they're practicing months in advance of shooting a film. Enio, just to give you an idea how good this guy is, within minutes, I mean, and here's the other thing that was a big benefit. Everyone there were mostly friends of yours who were all really good dancers, you know, so that was a huge benefit. He didn't have to teach them how to dance. They were all really expert social salsa dancers. So, but within minutes, Enio was able to choreograph, and with probably 20 minutes or so, he had this whole thing mapped out, practiced it a little bit, and we shot it. So that was nothing short of a miracle that whole day, that we got the footage that we did, all the footage in all the different locations in one day was miraculous.
Wow.
We just thank God for that.
When he flew in, did he bring the band? Because I noticed you guys had a band as well. Did all that occur in like...
So, yeah, the band, they are here, they're local.
Okay.
Enio and Terryl used to be local here in Los Angeles as well. They had this great company, and they actually still do, and are probably eventually coming back, but it's Let's Dance LA. Remember that, Let's Dance LA, look it up, because they're going to be pumping strong again here soon. Wow. But actually, Enio, I was looking, we're putting the talent together for the film in general, to package it for the feature film, and then also for the proof of concept. I asked Enio, I go, we're looking for a salsa band, and do you know anybody that's reliable, that does really, really cool stuff? And he introduced us to Carlos Navarro. And Carlos Navarro and his band, Son y Clave, it's S-O-N-Y, and then the last word is Clave, C-L-A-V-E. Son y Clave is the name of the band. Carlos Navarro is the band leader, and he writes all the original music. So all the music you hear and will hear in the film will be original music written by Carlos Navarro, who is head over heels for the film as well. And we interviewed him, and he loved, he asked a few questions, and he's totally on board. So we've signed him as well with him, again, to also have original music, a band that's so talented and well known in the world of salsa is really amazing and a blessing.
I gotta ask you this: will it be a soundtrack?
Oh, absolutely. I was like, oddly enough, that's one of the first things Carlos asked me. and I said, absolutely, Carlos, we're going to do a soundtrack for the film, and it'll be mostly his stuff. There may be a few, we may have some scoring done to just underscore the movie, although he may do that too. But generally, when you go into the scoring part of it, you get somebody that really knows how to do mood enhancement here and there for the film. And that may end up adding music, but yes, absolutely, there will be a soundtrack album. Gavin Salsa, the soundtrack album, will be coming out after the film is released for sure.
Well, I can't wait, man. If you guys haven't watched the clip of this, oh man, it's amazing. It really is amazing. I guess the one thing I took from it is that, Raquel in the movie as a therapist, no matter what you're going through, is people that have problems, even though they help people, but at the same time, you can overcome anything as long as you keep your faith. And there's something out there that you can actually just something that you can pretty much do to take your mind off of your problems. It's got to be something that you can pretty much, something that you can do to take your pain away. It's a powerful. It's going to be a powerful movie when it's released. I'm telling you, I want to see it. So,
thank you.
We're dying to get it made.
Oh man,
so you can see it.
Yes. Oh man.
And it's so true. It's you hit the nail on the head, King Jones. It's the whole idea of being able to take one's pain to help others avoid theirs. This is sort of the character arc that Raquel goes through. She starts out at the beginning of the movie hating God, hating life, hating everything, and being totally depressed and dark. And she evolves out of that, and through the spirituality and through the dance and through her relationship with this young man, Shane, who she sort of put together with, they end up helping each other. And she, through all of those things combined, she's able to come out the other side and realize that this is her new purpose in life.
Yes.
It rejuvenates her and lifts her spirit and makes her really fully alive again, and making her realize that her new mission in life now is to take that hurt, that pain, and to help others like Shane.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like you never know when you're going to have that strength. Even though you're going through things, you never know when you're going to have that strength to actually help another person out. And that's why I love this film, man. This is just so beautiful, man.
Oh.
We may have already answered this, but what is the most important thing you would like people to take away from this film, if nothing else, after viewing it?
Well, there's so many different things. We try to make a film that a lot of people can relate to in different levels. Life is difficult. We can react in ways that could be self-destructive. We can react in ways that just bring bitterness in our lives or add more to it. The main purpose of this film is to bring hope to those hearts that are broken, that are going through difficult times, and to plant the seed of faith. We're not imposing any religion. We're not imposing anything other than things can be different if we try to forgive and to, instead of going for an addiction that's just going to damage our lives even more, to try to learn more from the Bible, from God, from positive messages that we can get, whether it is, we can get at any church, and also a physical activity such as salsa dancing. It can be any sport. It doesn't have to be salsa dancing. But in this particular case, the character goes through so many difficulties, and she found her purpose in life, and the two coping mechanisms that she relies on is her faith and salsa dancing.
And, I think she's absolutely right, and I feel the same way on all of those counts. But no matter how dark, life, there's a lot of dark times in life, and we all go through it. And the message really is, there's always some lightness there, and you need to go to the light. Find a fellowship, whether it's through a church or whether it's through a salsa class. Anything positive, anything that's uplifting, there's got to be hope there. And the more you go to the light, the more you go to something positive, the more you will be uplifted, and the more you will heal. It'll take time. I'm not going to say it happened overnight, but you don't have to go further into the darkness. You need to go out into the light, search out the light and the positive. It is there. And if you search it out, you will find it, and you will become whole again and strong again, and do positive things in order to help lift others. Go find fellowship somewhere where people help you, where people lift you up, and then you will return that favor someday for someone else.
And as for the broken family aspect, it's a very difficult situation to be in, and we can make it worse if we're not working together in the best interest of the children. If that happens, that affects the children for the rest of their lives, like Jess was explaining a little bit earlier. And it is important that sooner or later, we help our children or help those that are going through those difficulties to learn from our own experiences, and maybe avoid it or shorten that suffering in the process. There's wisdom when we learn experience of others, right? And we don't have to go through it on our own. But if we can reunite, or we can help families to get united or work co-parent together and in the best interest of the children, that will be definitely one of the main purposes of this film.
As well as, the outcome in our film, we go to the broadest ends of the spectrum, and a lot of the time when you lose that secure attachment that you have with a parent, and you get confused or get turned against the parent or whatever, as a young person, that can really affect you negatively, and it can make you depressed, and you can start acting out, and part of that, sometimes people find the wrong kind of friends and start experimenting with drugs or whatever. You become depressed, and sometimes even suicidal ideation becomes a part of the spectrum that I'm talking about. And in this film, we do very gently and very intensely try to realize some of the answers to that, because we did a lot of research on that, and there are certain things you can do in that kind of situation. And we're so hopeful and praying that the right people see this at the right time, because if a lot of people can see this, I mean, it's a huge problem right now. 30% increase in suicide in the last few years, So if adults and children can see this and see some of the wisdom that even I didn't know. I'm in my 50s, and I learned so much just during the course of doing the technical research of this film. Mm-hmm. And we tried to put it all in here as much as we could, at least the highlights and the most important aspects for what can help people during that time. Yeah. So if young people are out there, or anybody's out there that watches this film that may be depressed, may not be feeling well, I'm not saying this is a cure-all, but it has the potential of giving some people some really good advice and good direction, and maybe, God willing, turn things around.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you could take a lot from this film. I took a lot from the clip itself that you guys sent me, and it's just, oh man, I feel like everybody needs to see this film. I gotta ask you this too. Will it be a book?
The thing of it is that does happen. And I think that's a very, very, it's actually, King Joe's, I think it's a good idea. I hadn't really thought about it, but there are movies out there where they were a movie first and then it's turned into a book. And I think this would be a great candidate for that. I think it's a great idea. We definitely want to do I'll let Anayancy tell you what.
Yes, one of the goals for after we're done with the film is or before we're done with the film, to get involved in that is to open up support groups for families that are going through similar situations, and provide a curriculum to be able to guide them, or for them to find a safe place to put their hearts out, because it's a difficult situation that not everybody can relate to or understand. So the support group is one of the goals that we have in mind.
It's going to sound a little corny, but we really, truly believe that God brought us together for this mission, because we both have this dark side in our past that took a lot of pain and a lot of years to get over. And we believe that we were brought together to help other people avoid that pain. And so it's kind of a mission for us, as it were. And part of that, yes, we even want to name it as the name of the therapy center where Raquel works in the script is called the Healing Hearts Therapy Center. And so we want to name the support group the Healing Hearts of Broken Families support group. So to pay homage to the film. And we're hoping this lasts a long time, that this sparks, that it's a seed that kind of sparks a whole new kind of purpose that can drive us into the next few years.
Wow, and I think that's a great idea too. If you could you share with us, you may not be able to do this, but share with us, with the listeners, pretty much the next move for the film, any upcoming events, announcements that you could pretty much kind of like let us know for the movie that's...
I can tell you exactly what I'd like to tell you, and that is, well, what we're doing is, we're making a big push on social media right now. We're going to be doing a Indiegogo crowd fundraiser, and it'll launch, I believe, on the middle of February. Oh, great. You can watch for it on all our social media, and also if you go to godandsalsa.com, that's our landing page, which will eventually become the fundraiser. And that's part of what we're doing. So that's February 15th. Simultaneously, right now, as we speak, we're also meeting with individual investors who may be able to bring a little bit more investment capital to the film. We're probably, again, going to partner with, hopefully, with a 501(c), and hopefully with an organization that I've already mentioned today, Anayancy, saying don't mention right now, because I have a tendency to open my mouth before it's happened. But so that gives us that allows us to partner with them so that we can raise tax deductible donations, because if you partner with a nonprofit, then you can do that and get grants, government grants. So it's kind of a three-pronged attempt to raise funds, capital to make the film. But again, the hard date is middle of February, we'll be launching a crowd fundraiser. If you guys watch for it on social media or go to godandsalsa.com and sign up, we'll be sending out newsletters. We'll keep you in touch with exactly what's going on with the film as it's happening. That's the best way, is to sign up and put out newsletters to our entire fan base and audience that way as well. And we can, simultaneously do it on social media. So the hope is that we raise the funds. We do the fundraiser, we raise private capital, we scratch together all the dough we need. $750,000 approximately is what we're trying to raise. I don't imagine we'll be able to do all of that in a crowd fundraiser. The idea is to get 20, 30, 50 grand and then hire a casting director. And we want to get a couple of recognizable actors involved. And the perfect roles for that would be Shane's parents, Matt and Monica. Anyway, that's a quick overlook of what's happening in the next few months.
Oh, great.
Right. We're also we're inviting all our friends and their friends and their family to like our main page, as well as the
Facebook page.
Facebook page, yes.
Everybody go out and like God and Salsa the film.
That's
the more
right.
people like it, the more, think about it. 35,000 people. That's a lot of people, but if 35,000 people each give $20, which would be what you pay to go to a movie, right?
That's right.
So, yeah, that's part of it. If you donate $20 on our Indiegogo site, we will give you a download of feature film when it's finished, when it's released. So it's like you're not even really donating in a way, you're paying for a movie ticket. 35,000 people to give $20, we would have the entire budget to make the whole film. So it's a numbers game. It's just to bring enough awareness, and enough people put in even a smaller amount of money, it could really make this thing happen. And they could go out there and realize that they were a big part of getting this film made.
That's right. Also, I got to mention this too as well. I was just sent this. You guys have a landing page also, chillloverradio.net/God and Salsa. So make sure y'all check that out. And pretty much that page, I know you guys probably have already seen it, but it has
beautiful.
all the links plugged in. All your links plugged in from Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, including the clip of the movie. So make sure y'all check out chillloverradio.net/God and Salsa, just like that. Just type it in. You can Google it and it'll pop right up. So make sure y'all check that out.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for doing that. That's an awesome way to put it all together on one page. And we're just so tickled pink that you're behind us, man.
No problem at all, man. It's an honor having you guys on the show.
It's our honor, King Jones. It's such a pleasure meeting you and hanging with you.
Oh, no problem.
And we just can't thank you enough.
Oh, no problem at all, man. I gotta say it again. Make sure you guys check out the film God and Salsa. No, really, check it out. God and Salsa. Sign up for the page. Sign up on their website. Check out the play-by-play updates that they send you, man. I tell you, it's gonna be a great movie, man. We want to thank Jess and Anayancy for calling in and filling us in on this God and Salsa movie, man. This is gonna be a great movie. I tell you, if you miss it, you miss out. I'll tell you right now. But thank you guys for calling in. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Right on, man. I really appreciate it.
That's right. Keep it locked right here where you got it. It's Chill Lover Radio.